Hello everyone. Today we will be minutely experimenting over the grammatical errors. Grammatical error is a term used in perspective of grammar and just to describe an instance of faulty, unconventional or controversial usage such as misplaced modifiers and inappropriate verb tense. Along with that, usage errors that comprise grammatical errors with correctness. That can be factual error, that can be logical fallacies, misspelled, typographical errors, faulty pronunciations, and many other errors we are going to discuss. Along with that, we will be finding some remedies for those sort of grammatical errors. Grammatical errors can kill your writing credibility. So, if you are thinking that grammatical errors are not a big deal, that means you are ignoring a being a if you are on a ship, then you are ignoring a small hole that is created into your ship. So once what damage or disaster one hole into the ship can create, the same is the case with grammatical errors that you need to look after. Once if you are aware of all these errors, only then you can identify and later on you can know the real reason behind it, and afterwards you can find some remedies, solutions, and some strategies to eradicate those types of errors. Grammatical errors can be used in perspective grammar, and as I had already told to you that they can be faulty, unconventional, and controversial usage of grammatical patterns such as inappropriate verb tense, and they will compare grammatical errors. Today we'll compare the grammatical errors with the correct usage, and along with that we'll just find out the errors. We will find some solutions, we'll know the reason behind that particular error, and after knowing, we will be eradicating the cause of errors out of that. One by one, we will discuss these things in today's class. Number one is subject verb agreement. So you can see there is an agreement of subject to verb. If the subject is singular, then the subject expects that verb should also come according to its position. If the subject is plural, then verb is also expected to come according to that. But I don't think you may be thinking that there is any problem if we are talking about subject verb agreement. We are well aware if there is one subject, we will use singular verb. If there are more, if subject is plural, we are going to use the plural. But there are many cases where you may not be able to identify that what sort of subject is available and what are the requirements of the verb that you use. Once we'll see the example, you'll understand each and everything clearly. The example number one says, an important part of my life have been the people who stood by me. So you can see here that in place of writing this, in an important part of my life has been, because here we are talking about the important part of life, and you can even see many indications in the sentence which will give you hint that it is singular or plural. If it is an important, obviously it is singular, and here you have to use has according to the singular subject. So this is the most important factor that you need to keep in mind while eradicating errors. And there are some more rules and regulations as per the subject-verb agreement errors. We will be discussing them in the upcoming session. Number 2 is sentence fragments. Sometimes incomplete sentence fragments you may receive in some sentence, and immediately you need to identify them and replace them to the correct position. You can see here the example number 1. What does it say? He gave his mother an extravagant gift after the argument. And after that, you may see a fragment of a sentence, in spite of everything. So how will you correct this? In spite of everything, he gave his mother an extravagant gift after the argument. So you can see, in spite of everything is replaced here, so that now the sentence has become complete, because the fragments, if they are misplaced, if they are kept at some other places, then they will not provide you the appropriate meaning. So this is also an important factor. So once, if you'll identify that it is a fragment, just replace it to the appropriate place. Number 3 is missing comma after introductory element. So comma, although we may find it is not that much important whether we have used it, whether we have not used it, but it is the most important factor which will definitely create havoc in whatever you have spoken. You may find the total reverse of the meaning once if you have misplaced comma. Once if you'll observe the example, everything will be clear much more to you what I am saying to you. Why punctuation matters? Some people find inspiration in cooking their families and their dogs. So you can see in this sentence there is no comma. That means some people are willing to cook their families and dogs in spite of taking the right meaning, because we have forgotten to place a comma. What meaning we are receiving out of this sentence, that is totally different. Now you can see others find inspiration in cooking. After that there is a pause, comma, their families, then again there is a pause, and their dogs. That means the real message that we are willing to have is that we are inspired in cooking. Along with that, we love our families and dogs. So you may find that if by any chance you have forgotten to place a comma, the meaning is totally changed, and a different meaning. Sometimes the meaning is really horrible that you may receive out of not using comma at an appropriate place. So comma denotes that slight pause. If you are not using that pause, it may infuse confusion in your statement. In order to avoid this confusion, you always need to be specific regarding the use of comma. Misusing the apostrophe with its ITS. This is the important mistake that is done by most of the people you may have seen on even hoardings. So these hoardings are kept on public places, and you may see that at that time you may feel like killing the apostrophe. Why after all people are using it when they don't even know the meaning of IT apostrophe S? So let's know what is the meaning of apostrophe over here in IT apostrophe S and ITS. Is there any difference between both? Let's see. When an apostrophe is there with ITS, then the word means it is or it has. On the other hand, if there is no apostrophe, that means the thing belongs to that particular person. That means its my book. Or once if you are saying it's, that means if there is an apostrophe, that means it is. One more example you can see. I don't believe it's finally Friday. So here we want to say that it is. So we need to write IT apostrophe S. I don't believe it's finally Friday. Then only the sentence will be perfectly all right. Here in this wording, you may see that the playground area closed for maintenance for Mondays and Fridays. So here we are not talking that Monday is, Friday is. If we want to say that Monday is, Friday is, then only we can use this apostrophe that we have placed here. If we are not going to give this sense, then we should never use apostrophe. That means Monday is, Friday is. If we want to write is, if we want to use helping verb, then only we should use apostrophe, otherwise not. In the next segment, we may find that no comma in a compound sentence. This is the most important and significant factor you may see. Now, what are compound sentences, what are complex sentences, and what are simple statements or simple sentences? We should also know these intricacies, then only we can understand what do I need to say here. So, no comma. Use a comma to separate two complete sentences joined by conjunctions. Now here, one important thing I have highlighted, that is coordinating conjunction. The comma goes after the first clause and before the coordinating conjunctions. Coordinating conjunctions I had already explained in the previous slide, previous session, previous class, where I explained you vocabulary mnemonics. That coordinating conjunctions means fanboys. F for, like this. So we can here see in the example number 1, the man jumped into a black sedan and he drove away before being noticed. So what is the mistake in the sentence? Let's see in the corrected one. The man jumped into a black sedan, and after that you may see here there is a comma before the coordinating conjunction. A and the and here is a coordinating conjunction. It is adding two clauses, two sentences, two phrases, or whatever you can see. So here you may see that these two sentences are joined by this conjunction, coordinating conjunction. So the proper place of using comma is just before and, just before for, just before but. Whatever the coordinating conjunction you are using, you need to place the comma just before that. You can see one more example. It will be more clear for you all. She was beautiful and she was happy and she was full of fire. And now what should we do in the correction? She was beautiful, comma, and she was happy, comma, and she was full of life. So you can see there are two mistakes in the sentence, and I am clearly highlighting, elaborating, and even we are just finding what sort of mistake, and accordingly we are just placing the corrections to them. 6 is misplaced or dangled modifier. Dangling modifiers. Sorry. What does that mean? Misplaced modifier means a word, a phrase, or a clause that is separately, improperly placed at some other place where it should not have been placed. In the example, once if you'll observe, you'll understand what do I need to say. While walking on the sidewalk, Mary found a sparkling girl's bracelet. Found a sparkly girl's bracelet. Now, in the correction, you'll see, while walking on the sidewalk, Mary found a girl's sparkly bracelet. What did she found? Not the girl, but the bracelet. So you can see the correction. that here the modifier is misplaced. It has to be kept here, but it is misplaced to some other place. So once if you read the sentence, you'll get the meaning. You'll just find that whether the modifier is replaced, misplaced at some other place, then you can shift it to the right place. Even in this example, you can see a popular destination for cruise ships, tourist flock to Key West. You may not find the correct meaning. The correct one is a popular destination for cruise ships. Key West attracts tourists. So you need to write the destination, not the tourists. So that's why there is misplaced dangling modifier, or the modifier is misplaced. So you need to replace it to the right place. These are some errors. Intricately, we are just knowing the reasons why they are misplaced, why they are at the wrong places, what is the incorrect form that we have observed, and after that we are just finding the solutions to them. Number 7 is vague pronoun reference. What is vague pronoun reference? For example, the boy and his father knew that he was in trouble. Now, sometimes we may find that the pronouns are used in such a way that we may not be able to find that who is in trouble. Boy is in trouble, father is in trouble, or someone else is in trouble. So in this way, we may find, although the pronoun is used, but it is used vaguely, and we are not receiving the right reference for that particular pronoun. So in that case, you should always specify about who you are willing to say, you are willing to refer. One more example, we will just see. When Jonathan finally found his dog, he was so happy. Who was happy? Whether the dog was happy or Jonathan was happy. So here it is not at all clear. So how will you correct it so that the sentence can give you the right sense? What do you want to portray or what do you want to convey? Now the correct sentence is, Jonathan was so happy when he finally found his dog. So you can see now that he was happy. This is the final decision that we have disclosed here, that he was happy when he found the dog. We are not aware what the dog is thinking or whether he is happy or not. That is not clear in the sentence. Yet we have cleared one idea that Jonathan was happy when he finally found his dog. So in this way, you should always avoid vague pronoun references in order to avoid certain mistakes. Now, run-on sentence is another type of error that we are usually committing. When we run from one sentence to another, what happens? We commit error. While connecting two main clauses with no punctuations, on certain occasions, we commit certain errors. And how do we commit them and how do we avoid them? Let's see. First example, she tried to sneak out of house, her mother saw her leaving. So here, what does the sentence convey? That she was trying to escape from the house, but it's not written here, and the mother was looking to her. She was witness. She has seen to her. In another sentence, you will find the corrections. She tried to sneak out of the house, but her mother saw her leaving. So that means, although she was trying to leave the house, yet the mother has objected, or she must have taken some steps. So this is the way by which, once if you wish to run from one sentence to another, then you'll definitely commit an error. So while moving from one sentence to another sentence, you should always be more cautious so that you may not mar the meaning of the particular sentence. You can even read the another sentence. He ran through the field as fast as he could. All the while, rain was soaking him to the bone. Now, what meaning you are receiving out of this sentence? Just read it minutely, pay your attention, and everything should go into your brain and dissect it minutely, and you'll find the reason, you'll find the error. He ran through the field as fast as he could. All the while, rain was soaking him to the bone. He ran through, in the corrected sentence, you'll see, he ran through the field as fast as he could. But all the while, here you will see, rain was soaking him to the bone. And here in the upper sentence, you'll see the totally different meaning is coming out, that he was running through the field as fast as he could, all the while the rain was soaking. Although he was running fastly, the rain was soaking. But here the different meaning is, all the while the process of moving from one place to another was going on, at that time the rain was doing the work of soaking him to the bone. Now another is colon mistake. Do you make these colon mistakes? Are you sure that you are not committing these types of errors in your life? Let's see the example and you will find the existence importance of colon. A colon is generally used after a complete sentence to introduce a word, phrase, clause, list or quotation. That means before colon, it is essential to have a complete sentence. If there is no complete sentence, then we cannot put any colon out after that. So the colon signals that what follows proves or explains the sentence preceding the colon. So whatever is coming after the colon, that is totally agreeing, totally associated with the previous part of the colon, or the whole sentence that has come before the colon. So you can see the example, people move to Florida for the warmer weather, beach and the theme parks. So people move to Florida for is not a complete sentence. So it is not suggested that we can put colon after that. So what can we do now? We have to first complete the sentence and later on we can put the colon and the other further proceedings that we may have arranged. So you just see, people move to Florida for 3 reasons. Now the sentence is complete and we are allowed to place a colon after that. And you will see that the warmer weather, the beach and the theme park is associated with this whole sentence that have come prior to the colon. So this is the arrangement that we should do while we are placing a colon. So this is a very common error, but still if you aren't aware, then you will definitely commit the mistake. Only 3 things are essential: full sentence, colon, and afterwards some words, phrases, clauses, list of quotation associated with the sentence that has come prior to the colon. Next mistake is split infinitives. What are infinitives and how can we split them? And what is the reason and what is the consequence of splitting infinitive? We'll look here. You'll just see to go boldly, and here in the another to boldly go. Let's see the example so that it may clear in your brain that after all, what is the mistake and what could we have written in place of that. She tried to quickly finish the book before she had to leave. This is the example. That is incorrect. Now the correct one is, she tried to finish the book quickly. So an infinitive is a word to with a verb. After to, you are going to use verb. A split infinitive separates the word to and the verb with another word. So that can be adverb, obviously. So you should not replace the place of verb to adverb. After to, you have to place only in, after to, you have to place only the verb. Although there are many other grammar rules which may not allow me to explain and give explicit view to you for this, still broadly you can see here that after to, here quickly is an adverb and here finish is a verb. So the correct version is, she tried to finish the book quickly. Rather than writing, she tried to quickly finish the book. So adverb at its right place, after to, write down the verb. That is the proper sequence, and accordingly you should proceed further without splitting the infinitives, and that is also an important factor. So as today we have discussed about certain strategies, certain techniques of knowing the grammatical errors and how can we remove them. So you need to avoid these terrible grammatical errors that you may be committing in everyday life situations. So here I would say that these grammatical errors, once if you'll identify them, obviously you can eradicate those mistakes. Identification is most necessary element. After identification, you should know the rules and regulations. Accordingly, you can replace and you can avoid those errors that you may have been committing in your day-to-day life, conversation, even in writing and expressions.